Hi, fifth graders and learning coaches. All right, this is the next part of your portfolio. Okay, so you have already done your introduction. Here was my example introduction. Right here, I'm going to actually just change all this back to black. All right, so here is my full introduction. Imagine waking up one morning and your TV or your phone, TV, and computer no longer work. The internet is gone. Even the microwave doesn't turn on. Technology today is such a big part of our everyday life, and we depend on it for nearly everything. So I have my hook, and I have my background information, and now here's my thesis. Life without technology today would force people to be more hands-on, more social, and daily tasks would take longer. So now this is what I need to do for my body paragraphs. You're going to take your thesis. Your thesis and your reason should be your very, very last sentence of your introduction. So I can highlight, copy. I'm going to copy and paste this, okay? So I'm going to do Control. I hold it down, C. And then I'm going to go down here. I'm going to just get rid of this really quick just to show you. And I'm going to copy paste it. Now, why did Miss Conley paste all of that in? Well, I'm just going to make my life easier. So because my body paragraphs it has to relate, I have to include, if you look here, a transition word, a thesis, and my reasons, right? This is reason number 2. Okay, I'm going to drop that in. And then I have 3 reasons, so I need to put this in 3 times. All right, so I will go back and change some of this though. So first of all, I need a transition word. And I'm going to pull up a little cheat sheet for us. Hold on. Okay, so here is an example of transitions, okay? So I need to have a beginning right here, transitions. So I am going to say, to begin. That's how I'm going to begin mine. Okay, so here is my body paragraph 1. To begin, comma, it's always transition word, begin, comma. Then you have your thesis. I already copied and pasted my thesis. I got my thesis from my introduction, my last sentence. Now this paragraph is only going to be about reason number 1. So to begin, life without technology would force people to be more hands-on. That's my number 1. I can get rid of all this. Okay, now I'm going to have 2 pieces of evidence. I'm going to give examples of how people are going to be forced to be more hands-on. Okay, so that could be people would have to, like, let's say I would have to actually physically cook my food rather than just throw it in the microwave, right? So I'm going to not necessarily just go and get pizza rolls, right? And pull them out of the package and put them into the microwave or the toaster oven. I would have to make my food. Technology has made it easier. Or instead, I could even take it like a little less old school. I could say, I can't order my groceries online and have them delivered or go pick it up. I would go into the store and walk through the store and buy my groceries. So to begin, life without technology today would force people to be more hands-on. One example of this would be families would no longer order their groceries. I cannot type today. Oh my Lord. Groceries online. They would go into the store and select their items. Another example, people have to in person for the holidays. Okay, that's hands-on. I could also talk about food preparation, right? I couldn't I couldn't have DoorDash, okay, or pizza delivered. I would prepare my food. That's more hands-on. Okay, so that was my first reason. Now my second, I need a transition. So let's go back up to the top. Okay, I could say next. Okay, so let's do the word next. I'm gonna type it right here, next. And remember, you use your thesis. So I did my transition word. Now I'm gonna go to my thesis with my reason number 2. So here's my thesis. Life without technology today would, ... okay, force people to be what? More hands-on. We did that for the other one. Force people to be more social. So I'm going to get rid of this. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of this. And this is my number 2 reason. Now I'm going to give 2 examples of how people are going to be forced to be more social. Okay? People won't have their cell phones to look at when they feel uncomfortable. They actually have to look at people and talk to people. All right. So people at dinner parties would they would talk more because they're not going to be distracted. So I could write about that. Children at bus stops waiting for their school bus would be forced to talk to each other because there's nothing else to do when, because we wouldn't be looking at our phone. Okay. Those are more examples. Then for this one, I'm going to pick another transitional word. I could say lastly. I'll say lastly. Lastly. Life without technology today would force people to be, I gotta highlight this, would force, I'm gonna have to edit this just a bit. Would, life without technology today would, take longer. I have to edit this a little bit to make it fit. Would take longer to do things such as what? Well, I mean, you can't say about the grocery shopping, but like I could, like if I use a regular, I would have to go back and use a paper calendar. I had to write things down. People now send me an email. I click on it and it shows up in my calendar. That's easier. It takes longer for me to write. Another example, for research, you go online. I would have to go to the library and do research, and that would take longer. All right. If I wanted to navigate somewhere, I would have to get a physical map or draw it out or write out the directions. That would take longer. We're like typing, or not typing, but I guess typing out your paper, right, is faster than handwriting. Okay, these are examples. So you can write down the things, your examples. So this is how you do your introduction. Your body paragraphs. You are just going to take your thesis, copy paste, go down, drop it in. So here is my thesis with reason 1. Include the transitional word and then give 2 examples of it. Then I would do the same thing, copy paste, and make sure it's only reason number 2. more social. And do the same thing for the last one. You put your transitional word and your last thesis. This would be about taking longer to do things. All right, and give my 2 reasons or examples. The conclusion paragraph is not due right now, so I will revisit that in the next lesson. Hope this clears things up, everybody.